Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Real Positive Girl podcast. My name is Sabrina. Happy Friday to you all. I hope that whether your day is just beginning, you're in the middle, or towards the end, that you're having a fantastic day. And I hope that you have a wonderful weekend planned. Hopefully you get some rest, relaxation, some time to yourself, and maybe some time to get some much needed projects done, cleaning around your house. I know that's for sure what I need to do, and just getting things in order. I just pray that you have an amazing weekend planned. And I think that I'm so overly about that is because I need this weekend. I don't know if anyone else is feeling that. I've been feeling super over emotional this week and just so tired and overwhelmed and run down that I just need the weekend. So I pray that you're going to have an amazing weekend as well. I'm hoping that I do too. Let's go into that together. But yeah, I do hope that you're having a great day today. If you're having a tough day, a hard day, like I said, if you've been feeling overwhelmed and pressured and tired and just stressed to the max, I encourage you to take the 5-minute reset, where that is you take at least 5 minutes to be by yourself, and you're kind of like restarting your day. You're rebooting. You're coming back to baseline. You're just coming in, and you're gonna spend some time by yourself to just shake everything off and release any burdens that have been holding you down, and just like that dark rain cloud that's been pouring down on you. Shake it off, let it go, release it, restart your day right then and there. I also encourage you to take some time to problem solve whatever is like really nagging at you, really poking at you, really trying to get you down, like figure out how you can make the rest of the day better, or tomorrow, the next day, next week, however you want to think about it, and see what you can do to make things better in the short term and going forward. In addition, I always encourage everyone to make a list of at least 4 things that you are grateful for, and those can be big things, small things, medium-sized things. If you could be grateful for an amazing weekend full of awesome plans you have coming up. You can be grateful for being able to get through the work week without having a total big mental breakdown, which is kind of like one of my things to be grateful for today. You could also just be grateful for doing really good job at work, getting better at your job, staying positive, learning new things, finally understanding new concepts, things like that. And it's amazing how gratitude is like a never-ending list, because you can have so many things to be grateful for, not just the big things like a roof over your head and food in your belly and money in your bank account, but also all the little things that really count as well. So make that gratitude list of at least 4 things, and then in addition to that, make sure that before you leave your 5-minute reset that you are able to walk away feeling at least neutral, if not positive, about the rest of the day, because that's really important. You do not want to pass your bad mood along to anyone else. You do not want to be negative. You want to be able to use the time that you shook off all the burdens and made your gratitude list to change your mindset, to shift your perspective, and to realize that despite what you're going through, and I'm not here to diminish your feelings, but despite what you're going through, there's still amazing things you can hone in on, focus on, be grateful for, that can keep you positive, at least neutral, and carry you through the storm that you're currently going through. However, I do hope that you're having a fantastic day. So you don't have to do that, but it's always available to you. You're welcome to do the 5-minute reset multiple times a day, week, month, year. So just a consideration. Just a reminder that this week we were talking about being brave. And today, Friday, the end of the week, the last episode for this week's topic, we are going to talk about ways to be brave every day. So let's go ahead and jump right in. As always, I love to share fun lists and ideas for how to carry all this information and knowledge you get from the week into your normal everyday life. So, I feel like the week's episodes, the Monday through Thursday ones, I'm really trying to go deep into different knowledge, different information, understanding the topic we're talking about, how to apply it to your life, how to make things a little bit better, clean things up, how to really like change your perspective and your mindset, essentially like giving you information to become your best self, which is always my goal. And I feel like as of late, if it fits into the topic that I'm talking about that week, I feel like Fridays are really fun to go through like quick lists or quick lists of like questions or just ideas on how you can use the knowledge that you've already learned during the week in the examples that I give you, or be able to have like a little quiz of asking yourself questions so you can identify if you struggle with that thing, or if you're getting better at that thing, or if you need to focus in on that thing, or whatever it is. And so I thought it'd be really, really fun to like kind of hone in on some ways that you can be brave everyday life. So, and for this week, I thought it'd be really helpful to give you some quick rapid fire examples on how to be brave in everyday life, because I thought it'd be fun, and I just have 12 of them, and I know that sounds like a lot, but like I said, it'll be quick rapid fire. So let's go ahead and start with the first one, which is preach what you love and are passionate about without too much fear. So, you can definitely be brave by sharing things that you love, you're passionate about, that you might in your heart and in your mind feel embarrassed about, or think that people are going to make fun of you or judge you about. And those things could definitely be true. However, as I always say, just because someone has an opinion doesn't mean that it matters, doesn't mean that it's important. It doesn't mean that you have to accept it and take it in and like cherish it or believe it or internalize it in any sort of way at all. It just means that they have an opinion and they choose to be disrespectful by, giving their opinion in a negative light, passing judgment because they are upset with their own life. Usually when people are like that, they're really just projecting their own negative feelings for their own life and what they're going through, and it's easier to be negative than it is to be positive. So I would just encourage you to get out there and talk about what you love and preach about what you love and passionate about. And I said without too much fear, because I know there's still going to maybe be some underlying fear, especially if you're starting this without ever doing it before. But as time goes on, I feel like that fear will diminish more and more, and then you'll become a stronger person in the end. Absolutely. Next, share your ideas and opinions despite what anyone will think. So this is very similar to the first one. You're talking about what you love, what you're passionate about. In addition to that, share your ideas, share your opinions, and people are going to think what they're going to think. They might think you're wild and crazy, or they might think that you're too conservative, or they might think that, wow, are you sure about that? Or yeah, someone else has already done that, but you're talking about doing it a different way. It doesn't matter, because they always use the example of a lot of the world and even our country's inventors were kind of a little different, maybe a little crazy, maybe just a little off kilter. But I feel like to be creative and to really come up with good ideas, you gotta have a little craziness in you. You gotta have a little bit of a different style of thinking so that you are able to think outside the box and come up with these good ideas. So I encourage you to have the freedom and bravery to talk about your ideas and opinions, and don't worry about what anyone else will think. And I know that not worrying about what other people think is easier said than done. However, it comes easier with practice. So I encourage you to continue to practice to not care what other people think so much. And I know there's going to be people in your life that you do care what they think about you, and just focus in on that and what you think about yourself, and not what these other people that you don't even know, that don't even matter, that you may not even see again, ever again. Next, allow yourself to be wrong and make mistakes. So you might think well, how is that brave? It's very brave to kind of take off your garment of pride and ego and admit when you're wrong, when you've made mistakes. But it's also important to allow yourself to be wrong and make mistakes. It's because a lot of times we can learn so much through making mistakes, because we realize what didn't work, how that didn't work, how we might need to shift in a different way. Especially people give us advice and we didn't go through with it, or maybe they did give us advice, we did go through with it, and it did turn out to be a mistake anyway. And so it's important to let yourself just kind of go through that journey, go through those experiences to really understand the other side of doing it wrong, how you can pick yourself back up and start again, try again, kind of shift everything that you've learned into a new experience and opportunity. Next, go with your gut and instincts. And it's very brave to do this, because especially if your gut and your instincts and the things that are in your mind are very different from what everyone else is thinking. They're like, oh, I'm going to do this, this, and this is what my gut is telling me, and I feel like this is okay. And you're like, no, I don't feel that at all. I feel really unsafe, or I feel like this is not going to work out. And just let me tell you though, also having feelings of fear is different from just trusting your internal gut and instincts. And I hope that you can understand the difference between those two, because let's just say if everyone's telling you that you need to go to a certain school and you're just not feeling it, you're feeling that you need to go to this other school because it's really calling to you, that's really a more perfect fit for who you are. I would go with your gut, go with your instincts if you're able to, and then just things like that. So really just trust what you are trying to tell yourself internally, and see where it takes you, and go on that adventure. And don't be afraid to go on that adventure, because yes, you may feel like you waste time, or you end up having to start over again, or you run into some trouble. I feel like that's going to happen anyway, no matter what you do. So you might as well do it in a way that you enjoy, you learn something from it, and it'll be so much easier to pick yourself back up again and start again, or have to come back to the start and try another time or another way. The next one is try new things and experiencing things for the first time. So trying new things, obviously, I feel like that's a key encouragement for bravery. Try new things, step outside of your comfort zone. And also going through the whole experience of trying things for the first time. So how you're really trying to encourage kids to try certain foods for the first time, and they really don't want to, and you're like, okay, you just got to be brave and strong and do it, and it's gonna be okay. And that's kind of how you have to talk to yourself. You're like, okay, I gotta be brave, I gotta be strong. But yeah, you gotta be brave, you gotta be strong. You have to just try things, just give it a try, take a step up to the plate, and just be like, okay, this might not work out well, this might work out better than I think it will, this probably just won't work out. You have to try something different, or you'll figure out that it's just not for you. And so yeah, like the example of trying to get a kid to try a vegetable, a food that they don't want to try, but you're really encouraging them to do it, and telling them it's going to be okay. And at least if you don't like it, at least you tried it, at least you actually know for sure that you don't like it, that's not going to work out, that kind of thing. So you have to keep your eyes, your heart, your mind open to liking something new, being able to experience something new that you didn't even know you loved, because you haven't actually tried it, but you were afraid to try because you didn't know how it was going to turn out. Or like a lot of people fear disappointment and not liking stuff and being like, oh, that's a waste of my time, or man, they just like to feel disappointed, no, like, and I don't think I mind disappointment. Sometimes it can hurt really bad if like a person disappoints me, but if I try a flavor of ice cream and I'm just like, oh, that's gross, but at least I tried it, it's fine. It's like, I just like to roll with the punches with that kind of a disappointment. But yeah, again, I encourage you to tap into your bravery, try new things, experience things for the first time, and just give it a try. Like, what harm could be done by trying, right? If you don't like it, then move on. But if you do like it, then you'll realize something new that you like. That's great. I feel like you win both ways. Next, create personal boundaries. I'm not going to go on and on about this. I went through a whole week talking about personal boundaries. Please go listen to those episodes if you want more information, but it's very important to have the bravery to set boundaries for yourself, despite how your partner, your friends, your parents, your kids, whomever will like try to cross those, try to like make you feel like you're crazy for setting boundaries, but you know that they're really important to you, because you need to know your limits. You need to be able to say no or say yes and not feel responsible for things that are not your responsibility at all, especially people, unless you're raising a child, and that's totally different. But even then, it's not really your responsibility to make your child happy. You're supposed to protect them and love them and care for them and teach them how to be a human being. But, if they're getting older and they're just not happy, you need to help them figure out why. But it's not necessarily, I would not necessarily say it's your full-time job to make them happy. You have to show them how they can find happiness in different opportunities and experiences. So, but yeah, I would say create personal boundaries, figure out where your lines are drawn, figure out where you can be a little bit flexible, but not so much so that you're being taken advantage of, and not so little that you are not budging for anything and being very cold and locked up kind of situation. So yes, be brave, set your personal boundaries, abide by them, live by them, enjoy your life better by having personal boundaries. Next, ask for help. And this one is a big one about, pride and your ego. Sometimes a lot of us believe that we can get everything done on our own without any help, without any assistance. And it's important to recognize when you do actually need help, when you can't do it any longer, where, you've been wasting your time and you really just need to reach out to someone and ask them for help. So whether that is like mental help or physical help, or just understanding something, or figuring out what you should do next, or how you should approach this issue, how you should talk to someone, whatever it is, do not be ashamed or feel like you're less than, or you're not as good as you thought you were by having to ask for help. Be brave. Let those feelings of pride and ego kind of be pushed down and just like kind of locked down, at least for the moment, so that you can get the help that you need and learn something, and you'll actually grow in that situation from being able to push those things aside and just be honest and truthful by requesting help from someone. Next, let go of the past. So you might not think that letting go of the past is very brave, but honestly, a lot of people will hold on to the past as an excuse or as a way to hide from what could come in the future or what is even happening right now in the present. Even if really bad things happen to you, you might use that excuse as to why you can't do this, that, and the other, why you'll never amount to the person that you had originally thought you would be, why you can't do this, that, or other, or why you don't want to try new things, new experiences, because the last time that you did that, it turned out really badly and now you're scarred for life. I would encourage you to do your best, let go of the past. And it doesn't mean that you're necessarily forgetting what's happening, but you're not letting it rule your life. You're not letting it dictate your every single move. You are not letting it waste your life away by it sitting there and being such an easy excuse for you to use to not engage in new things, new experiences, or to be more open and honest with the people that you surround yourself with. So I would encourage you to let go of the past. Don't let it hold you back anymore. Be strong, move forward, and know that there's so many amazing opportunities that have been waiting for you, that are being created every single day for you. You just need to be open and available for them to come over to you and just open up their arms and being like, hey, I'm here for you. Oh, that's awesome. So let go of the past. Next, give yourself praise and positivity. Be brave enough to tell yourself that you're awesome, you're amazing, you're doing great, you're growing, you're learning, you're becoming your best self every single moment of the day. Do not be ashamed to pump yourself up. Have the bravery to just tell yourself all these amazing things. Don't worry about what other people think. Don't even respond to people that will call you selfish or stuck up because you are telling yourself how amazing you are, and you're sharing with everyone how proud you are of the things that you're working on and getting better at and excelling at. That's fine, because I feel like there's definitely a way for you to share humbly and then share like you're bragging. And if you're sharing like you're humble and you're just really positive about where you're going in life and what you're doing right now and how you're becoming your best self, then that's the way to go, and that's the way you should do it, and there's nothing wrong with that. And be brave, just stick up for yourself and tell people how amazing you are, because the world needs to know. Everyone needs to know. Second to last one is stand up against prejudice and discrimination. I don't think I really need to go deeply into this one, because obviously I encourage everyone to be brave enough to stand up for prejudice and discrimination. I know that it can be very scary at times because you're unsure of how it's going to turn out. You're unsure if people are going to start coming at you, attack you, coming for you because you're standing up for someone that they don't like, they don't appreciate, they don't support. That can be really hard, because you can kind of shift from a neutral position, like a Switzerland position, to being on the bad side, being seen as a friends with the enemy, quote unquote, and just all these terrible things. But sometimes it's worth it to, you got to back up the people that you care about. You got to back up people that are fighting for against injustices and against prejudice and against discrimination and all the bad things that are happening in the world. And if you as they say in Hamilton, if you stand for nothing, Burr, what will you fall for? Like for reals, you have to consider that. Like if you don't stand up for anything, then no one actually knows what you support. No one knows what your actual ideals are. No one, you're kind of it's kind of like a cop-out to not choose to just stay neutral, because I understand that maybe you don't want to make waves, maybe you don't want to cause trouble. I get it. I understand that fear. Believe me, I've been there. But there's going to come a time where you have to choose a side. You have to be there to fight against people that are taking other people's rights away. That's just not right, and you have to stand up for it, and you have to try to combat those injustices in any way you can. I'm not saying you have to be on the front picket lines and, be out there in the marches and stuff like that, but you have to do your best to raise awareness and stick up for people when they need it most. So I encourage you to do that. Lastly, one of the best ways to be brave every single day is to not be afraid to start over. I feel like this is one of the hardest things, and it's definitely something that I have experienced fear from many times, even recently. Like the fear of having to start your whole life over, or really have to start anything over. It just sucks. When you were growing up, or now, and I have no shame, and if it's now, I think I would love to play this game again, but have you ever played the board game Sorry? And when someone pulls a card or lands on your spot or whatever the rules are, I forget, I haven't played this game in years, but I loved it. I loved it growing up. I loved it. It's one of my favorites, that in life. But in Sorry, I think they would pull a card, or you would land on their spot, or something would happen, and then you would be able to send someone all the way back to the beginning. And oh my gosh, I think as a child, that's one of the deep-seated reasons why I would never want to have to restart anything. I would never want to restart. And I think that even if something went wrong in a project or a paper, I would just try to rework it. I would just try to be okay, well, we still need to use all the effort that we have already gone through and just rework it and continue moving forward. Starting over is not an option. And anytime I was sent back to start in Sorry, I was so mad because I would feel so behind. I'd feel like there's never going to be enough time to catch up. I'm never going to win at whatever I'm trying to get to. And all of those same things are similar for me in real life right now. It's if I have to restart something, I have to restart my life, restart my career, restart, which I've had to do several different times, restart, living in a new place, a new home, making new friends, a new church, whatever it may be. Having to start something new is so hard, so scary, because you don't know what to expect. You start feeling like you're going to be behind. You're never going to catch up with everyone else, with your peers. You're going to feel like less than because you had to start over. When in reality, you should think of it in more of a positive light. You should realize, okay, I'm getting an opportunity to start over. Some people do not get the opportunity to start over. Some people just feel like they are losing the game constantly and they weren't given the opportunity, the chance, the blessing to start over, because when you start over, you have resources, you're ready to go, you can start over, you're starting over, but you still have things that are going to keep you moving. Some people, they'll just continue to fail, and they won't be able to restart over. They're digging themselves an even deeper hole and not even understanding how to get out or figuring out how to get out, but it's still getting deeper over time, and they're kind of being swallowed in. So I would encourage you to think of it in a positive light. Put down your ego and your pride and realize, okay, I'm going to have to start over. This will be a great growth opportunity. I will learn new things, have new experiences. It'll be awesome, amazing. And maybe life will be even better than I anticipated or than it was before. Or maybe this is meant to be, and this is going to be a good experience, and I'm going to believe it's going to be a good experience. Have faith that God's going to carry me through, and it's going to be amazing. So I encourage you. Positive attitude when it comes to starting over. So those are the 12 ways that I think you can be brave every single day. I encourage you to think about those and maybe apply them to your own life if you would like. But that is the end of the episode, you guys. Thank you so much for listening to the Real Positive Girl podcast. Again, my name is Sabrina. I really hope you enjoyed the episode, and if you did and you know someone else that would enjoy it too, please share this show with them. I'd really appreciate it. I already appreciate your guys' support so much. I even was talking about that on my IG stories today. Again, if you want to come visit me on IG, on Instagram, I am at Sabrina Joy Perozzo. It's in the description box if you need to know how to spell my name. Also, you can visit my website, which is sabrinajoy.com, that has all the media and content that I produce currently. And if you check the description box, my email address is in there for any questions, comments, concerns, or prayer requests. If you have any feedback about the show, if you have any suggestions for topics I should talk about every week, or if you just want to say hi, I would encourage you to do that via email or on Instagram. But again, thank you so much for listening, you guys. I hope that you have an amazing Friday, an amazing weekend, and full of relaxation, getting crap done, feeling good, and just getting recuperated and rested for the next week. But until next time, have a good one, and I'll see you next time. Bye, guys. See you next week.